Is the EU Omnibus Directive really so scary, and what does it entail in the first place? The part of the New Deal for consumers is the directive known broadly as the Omnibus Directive, or the Enforcement and Modernization Directive that came into effect on 7th January 2020. The Omnibus Directive will strengthen the consumer rights through modernization of the EU consumer protection rules, such as the enhanced enforcement measures and increased transparency requirements. But it will simultaneously impose additional restrictions and obligations on entrepreneurs. It will bring changes to multiple consumer protection directives and protection areas. This is why in this video, I will go over the most important things that you need to understand and implement in your business, as now is the exact time when the directive has just entered into force and been transposed to national law of all of the member states. An EU directive is a legislative act that sets out a goal that all EU countries must achieve. However, it is up to the individual countries to devise their own laws on how to reach these goals. It can be then understood that the EU gives the member states the results to be achieved and a specific deadline by when they have to do that. The process of how that goal will be achieved is left entirely to the governments of the member states. The directive applies to not only all 27 member states, but also to Iceland, Liechtenstein, and Norway, as signatories of the Agreement on European Economic Area, also known as the EEA. First and foremost, this is not a completely new law. This directive updates laws that have already been in place to catch up with the rapidly transforming market and its products. It will widen the scope of current consumer protection framework to digital goods, content, and services. Also, for the first time, EU consumer protection rights will apply to free services as well. Therefore, the directive will have the biggest impact on the traders, online traders, and marketplace platforms from the sectors such as sales and service market and e-commerce in particular. The main 5 changes that you must keep in mind are as follows. First, you'll have to inform about the prior price in case of price reduction. That means that together with the reduced or sale price, the lowest price of the product or service for the past 30 days will have to be displayed. Second, you'll have to check whether the reviews actually come from consumers of the purchased product or service. If a trader provides access to consumer reviews of products, there should be information about whether and how trader ensures that the published reviews originate from consumers who have actually purchased or used the product. Third, you'll have to apply regulations of the GDPR and consumer protection rights to contracts for the provisions of digital content or digital services without the consumer paying a specific monetary amount, but in exchange for their personal data. Fourth, you will have to inform if the price is presented is personalized on the basis of automated decision-making and profiling or not. And fifth, you'll have to inform whether the third party offering the goods, services, or digital content through the online marketplace is a trader or not, on the basis of the declaration of that third party to the provider of the marketplace. If the third party is not a trader, there is an obligation to inform them that the consumer rights stemming from the consumer protection law do not apply to that contract. Well, what happens if you do not obey with the rules outlined in the Omnibus Directive? Non-compliance of any of the obligations stemming from the Omnibus Directive can result in substantial financial fines. The Omnibus Directive establishes a system of penalties similar to the one introduced in GDPR. So the directive introduces fines of up to 4% of annual turnover of the entity in the member states where the breach or breaches took place, or up to at least 2 million euros in case where information on turnover is simply not available. Member states are also able to introduce even higher fines when they transpose the legislation into their national law system. Therefore, it is really critical to review your business practices and double check if you comply with all of the new laws, in particular if you're an online product or service provider. There are new EU regulations that complement and supplement the GDPR, such as the EU e-privacy regulation, which was proposed in 2017 and is still in the process of being adopted. Another one is the EU Cybersecurity Act, which was adopted in 2019, and it strengthens the European Union's ability to respond to cyber threats by creating a specific framework for cooperation between the EU member states and the European Union institutions. Additionally, the EU's data protection supervisory authorities have issued guidance on various aspects of the GDPR, such as on the use of cookies, data breaches, and the use of artificial intelligence, which should be particularly considered when implementing this regulation. Well, if you found this video useful and you would like to get more tips and tricks on how to do business in the European Union, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and follow me on other social media.